Sometimes you want to just sit back in your man cave, sip some freshly brewed coffee, and just talk about Batman, you know? Well, I'm Michael Keaton. I'm the guy whose face you probably don't like, and today I've got a whole bunch of fun facts about Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. Why? I don't know. Because I like Batman.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Let's start off with the one that, well, it started it all. Batman Begins. I should not have like I have so much stuff on this desk that's just like everywhere, and I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't even use this thing. You might remember this scene in which Batman gives Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow a taste of his own medicine. What Dr. Crane sees is a pure nightmare fuel and one of the highlights of the film. Now, while you might have assumed that the whole thing was done with CGI, it turns out that it was predominantly a real suit and mask, as seen in this low-res behind-the-scenes footage. It appears that the black goop is unsurprisingly a CGI addition, and there are more enhancements, but it's pretty cool that the demonic creation itself was practical.
Dr. Crane isn't here right now, but if you'd like to make an appointment.
Bonus fact I stumbled across while trying and failing to find more info on this entry: the black paint job that Bruce Wayne gives his Batsuit had a practical purpose behind the scenes. According to costume designer Lindy Hemming, the black latex spray paint is meant to hide the suit's heat signature from enemies. I'm not entirely sure about the science behind that, but cool. And since some Redditors pointed this out, I'm now in love with the idea of Batman being a floating mouth and eyes like in a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Before we got to nightmarish monstrosities, there was the equally nightmarish task of casting Batman himself. While Christian Bale, despite his faults, wound up a pretty dang iconic choice for the Caped Crusader, there were other names in the hat who auditioned for the role while wearing Val Kilmer's Batman Forever suit. Now, these included the likes of Fringe's Joshua Jackson, Hugh Dancy, Billy Crudup, who would of course go on to appear in Watchmen as Dr. Manhattan, Henry freaking Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Cillian Murphy, who honestly he makes that Batsuit work for him, not gonna lie. Oh my goodness, he fills it out. Now, some outlets also reported that Ashton Kutcher was a potential studio pick for the role, although if you cast your minds back to 2003 or so, my fellow olds out there, you'll recall Kutcher was attached to a lot at the time, including a chance at playing Superman, so it's no surprise that he almost nabbed the cowl as well. And you know what, hey, at least that Steve Jobs movie worked out for him, right? Right? Now, much has been made on this very channel about Christian Bale's diet. I'm pretty sure I've personally edited like 6 videos all about that man's commitment to his craft. So let's make this nice and quick. Dude got hella jacked for 2000's American Psycho, then got hella thin for The Machinist in 2004, and then bulked right back up for Batman Begins in 2005. Now, The Machinist wrapped in July 2003, and he had gotten the role of Batman during that production, so he immediately went into full bodybuilder mode and managed to gain over 100 pounds in around 6 months, so he could start filming in February of 2004. He then notoriously had to drop around 20 pounds because Nolan thought he had bulked up too much, which just, honestly, it just makes me feel like the most pathetic man in existence. Now, here's one that I remember being a huge deal at the time, but which kind of disappeared from the public consciousness if you weren't involved. Me, I was aggressively nerdy when it came to Batman when I was young. Come on. I'm still a sad, nerdy man. And so when The Dark Knight came around in 2008, I was chomping at the bit to get my bat fix. The marketing team put in their A game for one of the most memorable rollouts in my life as a film fan. They had a website dedicated to the latest Gotham news, Joker cards left at comic book stores, all sorts of Easter egg hunts, and what I remember most fondly, the reveal of Heath Ledger's Joker. At the time, a lot of people did not trust that the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You and Brokeback Mountain could turn in a great performance, or for that matter, nail the look of the part. To reveal the first promo shot, fans were given this image promoting Harvey Dent for DA, and through a code sent via email, they could erase the image pixel by pixel, slowly revealing the Joker. It was wild. Like Joker's wild. Yeah. I remember a lot of fans still complaining about his edgy appearance, but eventually everyone came around to it. Well, almost everyone, thanks in small part to one of the best movie marketing campaigns of all time. Remember that grating sound that accompanied the Joker seemingly everywhere he went? Well, that was the work of composer Hans Zimmer, who accomplished it by taking a razor and sliding it across cello strings, which honestly just makes me feel like the deaf kid in Freddy's Dead. Just no thank you. I realize I'm just talking about Joker stuff from The Dark Knight, but I'm just going to do that some more, I guess. Christopher Nolan loves doing big action set pieces for real, be it the Batmobile cruising over Gotham rooftops, or that sick truck flip thing, or a mid-air plane napping, I guess. He just loves his movies to be as real as possible. The hospital explosion is one of many big, insane practical effects in The Dark Knight. Now, let's just get this out of the way first. No, Heath Ledger did not improvise that bit where the controller doesn't work. Common misconception that sounds really dope until you think about it for 5 seconds. The building used for the hospital was an old Bronx Candy administrative building that was scheduled for demolition. Hence, it wasn't too tough for Warner Brothers to nab that sucker up, dress it with some fancy signage, and bada bing bada boom, hospital explosion. By the way, in the scene where Rachel is killed in a later explosion, anyone else just love that they didn't even try to add an explosion to the shot itself? It's literally just a burst of air and a bright strobe. Not really any behind-the-scenes knowledge there, I just always loved that simple approach to the scene. Now here's a heartwarming one. David Dastmalchian is no stranger to comic book movie fans. Dude was most recently Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad, and previously had appeared in both Ant-Man movies, voiced Calendar Man in this year's Long Halloween two-part film thing, played Abracadabra in the Flash TV series, Dwight Pollard in Gotham, and has appeared in a bunch of other nerd-friendly roles, including Dune. His career really started back in 2008 when he showed up as Joker's schizophrenic accomplice in The Dark Knight. Now, just a few years before, Dastmalchian was a heroin addict living out of his car and successfully turned his life around through various programs and hospitalizations, as well as writing a screenplay based on his experiences. After Dark Knight, he still had a ways to go, but it was the first step toward a very bright career. And he even got his script made into the 2014 indie film Animals. So that's pretty cool. I highly suggest looking up his story, by the way. There's tons to read about. I couldn't fit it all into this video, but trust me, it's a very inspiring story. Oh God, I haven't even said anything about Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry. Truthfully, I have not watched that sucker front to back since theaters, but I don't know, the football scene. That's a fun one, right? Gotham City Stadium, of course. It got dealt one heck of a blow when Bane came to town and blew the damn thing up after exploding the mayor. And this one actually, it kind of brings us full circle, because the big explosion sequence in which the whole field collapses actually had a little practical assistance. Obviously, the majority was CGI, and a little distractingly so, to be honest, but there were real explosives going off to get the effect of the dirt flying up around the fleeing football player. I don't football. The guy what does the running. That one. Anyway, what I found wild when I looked at the behind the scenes materials for this sequence was how even the holes in which the players fall behind him are also practical. They just wind up looking so CGI because they're kind of covered by CGI. It's like a less offensive version of what they did to that reboot prequel version of The Thing. Remember, where they had all the models made and it was all like these beautiful practical effects and just all covered in CGI? That nonsense, but again, not as disconcerting. It's almost a shame that so much got covered up in post, because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see all that attention to detail. Even the people in the stands, while filled out a bit in post, are mostly real extras who got to see the explosions in real life, and maybe leak a bit of it to social media in the process, which is not quite the same as The Dark Knight's marketing prowess, but certainly a good way to get butts in seats. Oh, I'm way over time. Okay, I'm done. I could keep going, but this is supposed to be a short video, so if you want more Bat facts or maybe some comic book related analysis, let me know in the comments. Or hey, maybe I didn't mention something you feel very strongly about, in which case, go ahead and leave that knowledge in them comments. Believe it or not, I still read these things. Oh my God, that's very offensive.